trusty laptop. Time for Media Watch. You're going to start off with a reaction to those two French hostages that are released.
That's right, indeed. And a lot of reactions on social media, in particularly from the Europe 1 newsroom. That's where two of those journalists worked, Edouard Elias and Didier François. And they were welcomed back in very warm fashion, as you can imagine, by their colleagues. And here is a photo of them in the newsroom. And one of them, who is actually a photographer, Edouard Elias, is taking photographs. So you can see that they're back on top form. And that is what the colleague is saying there. La vie reprend, or life is getting back to normal. They're also in the same newsroom in Europe 1, taking down those posters that have been put up to, keep everybody aware of the fact that they had two colleagues who were in Syria who were, hostage, and so no more need for those posters. So a sense of, I suppose, a very happy day in the Europe 1 newsroom. Now, meanwhile, while some journalists were very pleased with that development, others were being critical of things just because they're,
because they're journalists.
Exactly. So Nicolas Dose, who works for BFM Television, tweeted over the weekend, and it got an awful lot of criticism. This particular tweet: it's not the first time that the freeing of hostages happens at a very convenient moment in the news. But, at least the news is good. So he was insinuating that perhaps the timing of this had been orchestrated because of various other things that are happening politically. Perhaps it was a convenient thing for François Hollande, who was able to pose with the hostages. Obviously, very criticised for that statement, and he quickly retracted it, saying, look, that he had awkwardly expressed himself. But worth pointing out that it wasn't just him. Other cartoonists were also taking the opportunity to say, oh, well, François Hollande, you're posing with these hostages. It's a nice photo opportunity. But what about the country being held hostage to its economic situation? Rather poor joke, really, but some people making it. And others here in this cartoon on the Bakshish website saying, well, they better get back to work quickly because the unemployment figures are so bad. Now, that is, again, perhaps not the best taste in jokes, but it's a reference to the fact that last week François Hollande said that he has no reason to stand for re-election in 2017 unless the unemployment situation improves.
Okay, we're going to change tack completely now and swap to the other side of the English Channel, where Prime Minister David Cameron coming in for a bit of criticism himself for his Easter message, speaking of Britain as a Christian nation.
That's right, and it started in this particular publication, the Church Times. My faith in the Church of England. Britain should be unashamedly evangelical about its Christianity. He went on to make that statement, or some variation thereof, a number of different times. You can see headlines in The Independent. Jesus invented the big society. This is the Conservative Party's bid to withdraw from, I suppose, and make the government a smaller space where civil society would become larger. I'm just continuing God's work. Now, I think that comes across as quite glib, certainly the way the headline is written. And it did get an awful lot of criticism, in particular in this particular article. 55 public figures, including Sir Terry Pratchett and others, saying that this was a very bad thing to come out with, that you have it fosters alienation and actively harms society by repeatedly emphasising its Christianity when it's a multicultural society, I suppose, to large part.
Mixing religion politics causing trouble in the UK. It's even more taboo here in France, of course, and the former President Nicolas Sarkozy got into a lot of trouble when he tried something similar.
That's right. I mean, when I was reading up on this, I kind of thought, well, you've got the Queen of England, who is the head of the Church of England. It's not France, where you've got this aggressive form of secularism. So I was surprised to see that there was the same degree of criticism in the UK as a more expected degree of criticism in France. This is a headline from 2012 when Nicolas Sarkozy, when he was seeking re-election. You can see here in this photo he was he had a big rally in Trocadero, and he spoke about France's and Europe's Christian roots. But this, for a country that had a French Revolution where the state is militantly secular, is quite a controversial thing for the French president to say. And indeed, that headline there says France's Christian roots, but the cretinous roots of Nicolas Sarkozy for even saying that. So there you go. It clearly doesn't.
Finally, very quickly, James, the current president, François Hollande, also has a cross to bear.
That's right. This was a mock-up done of Mr. Cameron by the Huffington Post. I think we can see that there, bearing his cross. But Mr. Hollande is bearing his cross today on the front page of Le Monde in their cartoon, and that is the cross not of Easter Monday, sort of Calvary, Hill of Calvary and all that. It is the cross of unemployment, getting back to something we were talking about earlier. A lot of people keen to see whether he'll be able to keep that promise of bringing unemployment down by 2017. A lot of people think it's certainly a cross to bear, Chris.
Thanks very much, James. A belated secular happy Easter to you. We're going to take a very short break now. I'll be back with all the headlines just after that.